listening to the Angela Henderson Online Business Show, episode 487. Hey there, you amazing human, and welcome to the Angela Henderson Online Business Show, the podcast that is designed for female entrepreneurs who want to make more money in a way that is in alignment for them. If you're looking for practical advice, proven strategies, and expert insights to help you navigate the challenges of growing your business, then you've come to the right place. Welcome, my friend. I am your host, Angela Henderson, a proud Canadian living in beautiful Australia, and I'm a business coach, consultant, and strategist who has helped thousands of women around the world build successful businesses. Through solo episodes and interviews with successful business owners, industry experts, and thought leaders, you'll get insider insights into what it takes to succeed in today's digital age. Whether you're struggling to scale your business, looking for ways to boost your productivity, or seeking ways to overcome the challenges of being an entrepreneur, this show has everything you need to succeed and more. So subscribe, pop your headphones on, and get ready to creating the business and life you deserve today by allowing the Angela Henderson Online Business Show help you create a winning strategy, develop the right mindset, and build lasting wealth. Today, I want to have a conversation that has been sitting on my heart for a while now. And in fact, I'm fucking fed up, like really, really fired up about this conversation because I'm seeing this happening more and more, not only just in business, but in leadership, especially women in business. Obviously, that's the cohort of women that I work with, in friendships and families, everyday life, even in different sporting events that my kids are involved in. And I just don't think it's healthy. And I don't know how we have gotten here. I feel it's actually getting worse because of technology. I'm seeing people push harder than ever before. They don't take that first no as a no. They ask again and again, and then negotiate, and then they guilt, and then they try and convince even more. I mean, I'm talking more particularly about salespeople, for example. They wear people down until they finally get the answer that they're looking for. But I can also see this in family dynamics and other business dynamics. And I find myself just sitting here thinking, pondering, and getting revved the fuck up. Since when did wearing someone down become something we allow and condone, even celebrate sometimes? Where in our world did it change that we simply stop respecting someone's no? Because here is what I believe to be true. No is a fucking full sentence. And in my opinion, it doesn't need an explanation or fucking justification. And what I really don't think it needs is a 22 paragraph email explaining why someone can't attend your event or buy your program or come to dinner or take another project. No. No, again, is a full sentence, and that is enough. And if someone has communicated a boundary, we all would have experienced this. Our job isn't to figure out how to get around it. Our job is to respect it. Now, before I go any further, I also just want to say this. This episode isn't actually about the people who push your boundaries, but I want this episode to be about what happens when you don't honor your own. Because it's costing you. Every single time you ignore your boundary or boundaries, or every time that you say yes when your whole entire body is screaming no, or even when you let something slide because you don't want conflict, you, my friend, are liking yourself a little bit less. And I've said this on this podcast for so many years now. Let me repeat that. Every time you break your own boundary, you like yourself a little bit less. And so my question is then, do you actually want to like yourself less? Because ultimately what you're doing is abandoning yourself. And we know every time we abandon ourselves, what are we doing? We are chipping away at our self-respect. And when that happens, this is impacting our confidence. And it just eats me up because this doesn't have to happen. People often ask, how can they build more confidence? And my answer is quite simple. Confidence isn't built, in my opinion, around fucking affirmations every single day. It's a whole nother conversation because if your subconscious programming is all whacked and you're just saying affirmations, that's not ever going to work. So again, like I said, conversation for another day, but confidence isn't built by affirmations, but it is built by keeping the promises you make to yourself. And I have found personally that confidence grows when your actions align with your values. But also, more importantly, confidence grows when your nervous system learns that you can trust yourself to protect your peace. Do you see a common thread here? You make yourself, right? The common thread is you. The common thread is you, right? And when I see some women get it wrong, or that they think that boundaries are about controlling others, but when in fact, boundaries are just about protecting yourself. A boundary isn't saying you have to behave this way. A boundary says this is what I will and will not participate in. And that is a massive difference that we must look at it through that lens, because one is control and the other is self respect. What do you want? I know what I want. Now, one of the biggest lessons I've learned over the years is that your body often knows your boundary before your mind even catches up. Think about it. Have you ever agreed to something and instantly felt your stomach sink? And maybe if it's not your stomach, then maybe it's your chest just really get tight, or your jaw just like clenches, your shoulders are tense, whatever that feeling is for you, and you'll know it. Because when you have that feeling, what happens is your mouth said yes, but your nervous system had already said no to you, but you didn't honor that. We ignore these signals far too often. But then guess what happens? That cycle in a few days, or even earlier than that, hours, we're resentful. And we're also exhausted for having to try and prove ourselves or explain ourselves or just to be heard because our boundary was no, which then puts us into a state of overwhelm, right? And why is that? Why do we get exhausted and overwhelmed and resent? It's because we have crossed our own boundary. And what I've also noticed, remember, I'm an ex mental health clinician, so I have observed many people in many different areas of life and seasons. And what I can say is people who genuinely care about you might be disappointed, yes, because of your boundary. And that's okay. They are 100, 2,000, 900,000,000% allowed to be disappointed, but they respect your answer. Now, people, on the other hand, who do not respect your boundary often hear your no as the beginning of a negotiation. And what do those beep, beep, beep keep doing? They will keep asking you and pondering and trying to convince you, and they will push you. And this, my friend, is where I think we've lost our way. Quick pause from today's episode. If you are serious about scaling your business, increasing your impact, and surrounding yourself with the right people, then I'd love to personally invite you to my annual 3-day Women in Business conference at the Gold Coast. For 3 powerful days, you will learn from incredible speakers, connect with ambitious women from around Australia, and walk away with practical strategies, meaningful relationships, and opportunities that could change the trajectory of your business. Because sometimes your next breakthrough isn't another podcast episode or online course, but it's about getting yourself into the right room. And if you've been thinking about joining us, now is the time. Why? Because we only have 50 tickets remaining for this 3-day annual Women in Business conference. And once they're gone, they're gone. To grab one of these last remaining 50 tickets, head to angelahenderson.com.au and grab yours today. Now, let's get back to the episode. We have almost, in society, normalized treating someone's boundary as if something to overcome instead of something to honor. And again, this doesn't just relate in business, right? Because we can't do business in isolation to our friendship groups, our family relationships, and even our home life, our own just like family who we see on a day-to-day basis. And we've started believing that persistence is more important than respect. Now, I believe that we can still be persistent without being pushy. And I also believe I'm all about what I talk about. The fortune is in the follow-up. So I also believe we can follow up without ignoring someone's wishes. And also, I believe we can disagree without dismissing someone's boundary. Why? Because respect has to come first. Now, listen, I could keep going on about this shit in this topic because I'm that fired up and that fed up that people don't understand that no is a full sentence. And I get that other people will have different upbringings and they will rationalize the reasons why they do what they do and break people's boundaries. But at some stage, we are all adults and we all are responsible for our own lives in the way that we do and see and respect people. And as I said, I could talk about this till the cows come home. But I want to see women in business, women in general, be okay with standing in their truth and honoring their boundaries, being confident as fuck with respecting themselves, and also being okay to disappoint others. So instead of going on, I'd like to leave you with 5 practical things that you can start doing today to honor more of your boundaries and to like yourself a lot fucking more. Number 1, Stop answering immediately. This is something that I used to do all the time, and I've had to really work hard to train to myself. You do not have to respond on the spot when someone asks you to do something. But what you can do is one of the simplest things is, can I come back to you? And that simple, can I come back to you? That pause gives you space to check in with yourself instead of automatically people pleasing. Number two, listen to your body. Obviously, I also own the Healing Center of Australia, where we talk about our nervous system regulation, dysregulation, and all that. But number two is listen to your body. Before you answer, notice what your body is telling you, because it is giving you clues, whether or not, again, that is your chest tightening or your stomach dropping or instantly feeling exhausted and drained, or like this is hard. Your nervous system, again, is often whispering long before the resentment starts screaming. Listen to it. Number three, stop over effing explaining. This one is a hard one for so many people. They really have a hard time with this. So instead of saying shit like, I'm so sorry, I can't because, try saying something like, thank you for thinking of me, but I'm going to have to pass. And stop there. There's no need for any further explanation, because in my opinion, the more we unintentionally continue to explain, the more we are opening up an invitation for negotiation. Again, thank you for thinking of me, but I'm going to pass. The end. Number four, expect discomfort. People are humans, and we all react differently as humans. So expect discomfort. Setting boundaries can feel 100% uncomfortable, especially if it's not something that you're used to. And again, not because boundaries are wrong, but because they're different and your nervous system isn't quite there yet. And many people will mistake guilt for doing something wrong. Sometimes guilt simply means you're choosing yourself in a way you never have before. And again, that's growth, not failure. So expect discomfort, and that these boundaries are going to feel uncomfortable for a little while. Number five, let people be disappointed. This changed my life. Someone else's disappointment, I had to learn really quickly, isn't my responsibility to fix it, and it isn't your responsibility to fix it either. People, as I said earlier, they are allowed to be disappointed. They're allowed to wish that you had said yes, but you do not in any way, shape, or form have to sacrifice yourself to keep someone else comfortable, because every yes comes with a cost. Every yes potentially can cost you your time, or depending on what you are as a human, it could cost you your energy or your peace or your presence. And if you're saying yes to everyone else, the question becomes, what are you saying no to? Are you saying no to your family? Or maybe you're saying no to not going to the gym, and therefore it's impacting your health. Maybe you're saying no to your business, or maybe you're saying no to your sleep. And we know sleep is so important when running businesses. Or is it your well-being? Whatever it is costing you, because everything has a cost. So you have to start choosing wisely. And as I start to wrap up this episode, I want to remind you that every boundary you honor sends yourself one message: I can trust myself. And every boundary that you ignore and that you break sends yourself a different message. And that message is, everyone else's needs matter more than mine. And over time, it is inevitable that this will slowly start to erode your confidence, your self-respect, and your peace. So today, I want you to ask yourself one question: where have I been abandoning myself because my boundaries haven't been solid? Right? I want you to ask yourself, where have I been abandoning myself? Your boundaries are one of your greatest acts of self-respect you'll ever practice. And I'll leave you with this: the next time that you're tempted to explain your no, or the next time you're tempted to say yes, just to avoid disappointing Aunt Susie on Thanksgiving Day, or that even someone tries to negotiate a boundary you've already made very, very clear, remember, as I have said throughout this podcast episode, no is a full sentence. You are not being rude or selfish, but what you are doing is you are protecting your peace. And this is your responsibility. No one else can do that for you. And every time you honor your peace and your boundary, you strengthen the most important relationship you'll ever have. And that is the relationship with you, my friend. I hope this episode has given you some food for thought as to where you might be losing your boundaries, or maybe where you need to tighten up on things in order to start building that relationship with yourself, honoring you. and being okay with that. Because I'm seeing it over and over in this space with women, and it doesn't have to be this way. Choose wisely. And as always, if I can help you with growing and scaling your business, make sure to head to angelahenderson.com.au, explore the different ways that I can support you. Maybe it's inside of my mastermind, or maybe it's a VIP day, whatever you need, I'm here to help you. But for now, have an amazing day and check your boundaries, my friend. Much love. Thanks for listening to the Angela Henderson Online Business Show, www.angelahenderson.com.au.